Welcome back. Today we're jumping right into one of the most intense and, frankly, sobering passages in the Gospel of Matthew. It's a stark warning from Jesus to his apostles, telling them that their mission isn't going to lead to parades and celebrations, but to persecution, betrayal, and trial.
So, right off the bat, Jesus doesn't start with comforting words. He hits them with this chilling metaphor. Think about that. He's not sending them out as lions or bears ready for a fight. No, he's sending them as sheep, the most vulnerable prey imaginable, and he's sending them straight into a pack of wolves. This one image just perfectly sets the stage for the extreme danger they're about to face.
So, the big question is, how do you even survive that? How does a sheep make it out alive when it's surrounded by wolves? Well, Jesus' answer is a bit of a paradox. It turns out this mission required this really difficult balance, a kind of duality of character that was absolutely essential, not just for their survival, but for the integrity of their message. And this brings us to this incredible paradoxical instruction. On one hand, he tells them they need the wisdom of a serpent, prudence, discretion, a real tactical awareness to see danger coming and navigate a world that wants to destroy them. But at the very same time, they had to maintain the complete innocence of a dove. Gentleness, purity of motive, absolutely no malice. It's this incredible tightrope they have to walk. Okay, so after that big kind of overarching warning, Jesus gets incredibly specific. He basically lays out a two-front war that the apostles are going to have to fight. They're going to face persecution from the two most powerful institutions of their day, their own religious authorities and the massive Roman political machine. And the first warning, man, it really hits close to home. He's talking about their own people. The very synagogues and councils that should have been places of community and safety would instead become places of judgment and punishment. These councils, he mentions, are the local religious courts, with the biggest, most powerful one being the Sanhedrin in Jerusalem. And then the second warning blows it wide open. The threat expands to the highest levels of secular political power. They would literally stand trial before Roman governors and local kings. But here's the kicker. Notice the purpose. It was for a testimony. Their trials, their very persecution, would become a platform to witness to the entire world, both to Jews and non-Jews. And this wasn't just some abstract, maybe this will happen kind of warning. No way. If you read the book of Acts, you see these prophecies being fulfilled with just startling accuracy. You have Peter and John dragged before the Sanhedrin, Stephen's trial and execution, James being killed by King Herod, and of course, Paul's extensive legal battles before multiple Roman governors and even a king. And this story doesn't even stop with the book of Acts. When you look at church history and tradition, it fills in the rest of this brutal picture. It confirms that these trials very often ended in martyrdom. For instance, both Peter and Paul are believed to have been executed in Rome under the Emperor Nero. So these warnings were grounded in a very real, very deadly reality. Now, this brings up a huge question, right? How are these guys, we're talking about fishermen, tax collectors, just regular people, how are they supposed to stand up in front of the most powerful, most educated leaders of the time and give some kind of brilliant defense? They had no legal training, no fancy rhetorical skills. Well, Jesus gives them the answer, and it's probably not what they were expecting. He explicitly tells them not to prepare a speech. Don't worry about what you're going to say. Instead, he promised them this divine aid at that critical moment, that the words coming out of their mouths wouldn't even be their own. And that was their ultimate assurance. You see, their defense wasn't about clever legal maneuvering to try and get acquitted. It was destined to be something else entirely. It was going to be an act of prophecy, a divine testimony spoken through them by the Spirit of the Father, ensuring the message was delivered exactly as it needed to be. So, as if getting hauled in front of governors and religious councils wasn't enough, Jesus then delivers what might just be the most chilling warning of all. He tells them the most painful betrayals won't come from strangers in the street, but from inside their own homes. Think about this for a second. This warning completely changes the scenery. We're not in a public courtroom anymore. He brings a conflict right to the family dinner table. It just reveals how profoundly divisive this message would be, especially in a culture where loyalty to your family, to your clan was everything. What this really shows is the absolute all-in commitment that was being asked of them. This new gospel message, it forces a decision. It demands an allegiance. And Jesus is warning them that choosing to follow him could tragically, unbelievably override even the most sacred family loyalties, sometimes leading to betrayal and even death. All right, so to wrap this all up, Jesus kind of summarizes the huge scope of the opposition they're going to face, but he pairs it with the ultimate promise. It's this incredible combination of the harshest reality imaginable with the greatest hope. And just listen to how certain this statement is. He doesn't say, you might be hated or some people won't like you. No, it's a flat-out guarantee. You shall be hated of all men. Widespread, universal hatred was presented as a direct, unavoidable consequence of carrying his name and his message. And that warning about being hated, it didn't stay abstract for long. It became a horrifying, organized reality. After the Great Fire of Rome in 64 AD, the Emperor Nero desperately needed a scapegoat, and he chose the Christians. This sparked the first systematic, state-sponsored persecution, a truly horrific event that tradition says claimed the lives of both Peter and Paul. But right on the heels of that terrifying prediction of universal hatred, he gives them this profound promise. This is the ultimate counterweight to all that suffering. Salvation, he says, isn't tied to avoiding persecution. It's tied to enduring through it, to remaining faithful right to the very end. So when you look at this whole passage, you realize it isn't just a history lesson for a few apostles 2,000 years ago. It's really this timeless exploration of faith, of resilience, and of the staggering cost, and the ultimate promise that comes with an unwavering conviction, especially when you're facing a hostile world.